time for the grand final. It all comes down to this one best of 3 between the GOATs and the Wolfhounds to decide who is the champion of Season 9 in Valorant. I'm Charlotte, joined by Maddante, and we are thrilled, delighted, honoured. Pick more adjectives. We are just so excited to be here, ready for this grand final. Because Maddante, this should be a good match.
This should be a phenomenal. This is always... Okay, is this what a lot of people usually expect, getting into WEL, particularly for Valorant? Yes, absolutely. Would it have been nice to have... I'm already dying. This is how excited I am. Would it have been maybe nice to see the underdog story? Absolutely, but we got plenty of those. We got absolutely a lot of really close maps, excellent comebacks and such. So if there's any way more form-fitting to end the WEL than GOATs versus Wolfhounds is going to be a blast. And Charlotte, I'm pretty damn excited. How excited are you about this?
I'm so excited. Obviously, we've got so many storylines coming into this. The GOATs reigning champions as well. Wolfhounds pipped to the post even in the semi-finals last time out, but they got over those demons and could potentially go so much further. There's so much at stake here as well, obviously not just for Valorant, but in the Season 9 in general. You look at club points and everything like that. So it's just, there's so much on the line here. I'm so excited, Maddante, that I could honestly do a flip. That's how much energy that I've got going on. So,
yeah.
In fact, I'll do one right now. Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh my god.
Whee!
Look at her go. Look at her go. Oh my god, multiple. Okay. Oh.
Nailed it. A double backflip. Right
See,
there.
I'm not as acrobatic. I'm not as athletic. So I would rather not be doing the rest of this cast in a sling. So I'm good sitting right here where it is. I accept my defeats. Charlotte is the gymnast of both of us. But ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have quite a show.
News.
Look,
my joints are awful. I can't sit cross-legged, Maddante. Like this is how bad my hips.
On you then. I'm currently flexing on you.
My hips are not what they once were.
A tragedy indeed. But what will certainly be what they once were, hopefully, will be the GOATs versus Wolfhounds. And of course, we've got a lot to talk about in terms of the maps layout, in terms of the new agents. Harbor's had his rework. We've seen a lot of different changes come through. This universal stun rework that you could probably genuinely sit for about an hour and talk about that in just terms of how utility impacts people. We're not going to do that to you, of course. But my big thing is... My big thing is honestly what I love, and Charlotte, I think me and you have been very much in agreement. The map pool right now is arguably one of the most fun and flexible map pools Valorant's had in some time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm such a big fan that Split is back. It's honestly one of my favorite maps to watch. I mean, playing it is a little, but you know, watching it, casting it is always great fun. Unfortunately, we don't see Split today. Instead, the map pool, Sunset, Abyss, and then a Haven should we need to go the distance. So that's a pretty wide open map pool for me. Obviously, I think all 3 of those maps play really differently. Obviously, you know, we look towards Sunset map number 1. There's maybe a bit more focus on the sort of Sentinel utility, things like that. Obviously, you know, Haven map 3. It's a 3-site map, so that's obviously going to be different. And then you have Abyss in the middle as well. You got so many opportunities for duelist combinations there. You couldn't really do anything, and obviously dropping off the map is a big factor of it. There is the void that you can plummet into. So there's so much going on in this map pool. This should be a very exciting game.
Absolutely. I mean, Sunset as well. Probably actually, Abyss, don't get me wrong, I have adored Abyss. Abyss is actually, in my opinion, I have said this, Sunset maybe now post-rework, I think Abyss is actually one of the strongest design maps that Riot have introduced to the game. I do think that it's a strong middle ground between Breeze, which I'm sure has traumatized some people, and, you know, around that kind of style of Bind, where mid's actually very important. Bind, of course, doesn't really have too much of a mid, but you add a mid to Bind, you kind of get Abyss, which is good. And you were talking about that Sentinel utility. Sunset, just off the the back of the kind of the universal nerfs and the changes to Yoru and such, it's probably had the biggest amount of changes to it without ever being touched since that rework came out. I mean, Yoru can no longer do his gate crash, or no longer can do his blindside out of gate crash. He can no longer, the dimensional drift is just used for body blocking now. Vise has started to just really fall into the meta for a lot of these maps, which is super, super cool to see. I really do love the Vise setup. Cypher has finally been pushed out. If anyone's kept up with me, you know my thoughts on Cypher for the longest time. I just never thought that would be a Sentinel you would ever get rid of.
Yeah, I mean, as a Cypher main, it's quite upsetting, but you know,
I'm a Sage main. Join me down here. I'm a Sage main, okay?
But either way, we are
about to get into this.
Yeah, we're very excited. I believe we should be heading into the agent select very shortly. Is perhaps what I'm hearing. So, but look, this is. Let's just lay some expectations here. We kind of touched on it already. The GOATs, they are reigning champions. I need to check how many times in a row they actually they actually.
I think they're at least 4 or 5 time winners. I believe this could be their 3rd consecutive. I believe that's currently how it goes. I had that checked and then I lost it.
Pirates won well 7, so they could at least do the back to back.
The back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, okay, right. For some reason I was under the impression that Pirates won well 6. That's where my understanding is. But ladies and gentlemen, we get to speculate all about that later on, because we are going to be jumping right into this agent select. And get excited, ladies and gentlemen. Map 1 of hopefully a full map series, because if we get to see that, Charlotte, you pointed out how diverse these maps are going to be.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Sunset, we're going to see here, still does lean quite heavily into this Breach Neon idea that we see that potentially the Wolfhounds are going to be bringing out. They are the ones starting out on the defense, and the GOATs are starting us out on the attack. But yeah, Breach Neon is still very much possible here, and Lewis looks like they're floating the veto, which is also something that's quite interesting. I mean, you clearly have opinions on Sentinels, Maddante. What are your thoughts on the newest agent added into the game?
I'm not going to lie, actually. This is my first time I've ever seen Veto hovered. I thought Harbor got a new, agent, you know, whenever they changed Fade and they changed Harbor. That's kind of what I thought they did. I thought they gave him some aura. I thought they, redid it, because that's just kind of what I expect. I forgot Veto is now legal. Veto's interesting. Veto is, if you put Reyna as a Sentinel, is how Veto kind of makes me feel, where you've got that level of kind of feast or famine, being able to shut down. Oh my days, they're sticking with it. They are sticking with
the veto. Okay, this is so exciting.
Yeah, it's like, to continue just on that point then, I mean, Veto's really interesting because for anyone that doesn't know his ultimate, it's arguably the silliest ultimate in the game. It is absolutely wacky what it can do, but it doesn't save him from just being shot in the face.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. You know, Valorant, at the end of the day, you get shot, you die. The famous, perhaps infamous quote.
Just click heads.
Simply just click heads. Another thing to point out just before we do jump into this first round is the implications that this has for the UK Valorant scene in general. Both of these teams kind of are teams in the VUKC. GOATs obviously is, well, it's Lost Puppies or ex-GOATs, so it's pretty much the Lost Puppies roster who are currently waiting in the upper bracket, or in the grand final, having gotten there from the upper bracket. And Wolfhounds is basically the Yari Blue roster, which got knocked out in 7th, 8th place. So both these teams very, very good in the UK circuit in general. But we'll have to see which one of them comes out on top today. Very early push up through mid here, and Porridge inserted in B main might be able to catch something out. Well, it looks like Wolfhounds, they are exploring towards the safe side. Lewis, he's trying to clear the corner, and indeed does. That's the Omen down, and first blood here for the Wolfhounds.
It's a big start, but you look at the position that's been taken. Chaza manages to nearly get swung by LWS, but doesn't quite go down just yet. That's the frags now. A second follow-up for Eagle, though. LWS trying to go for the aggression. A beautiful play off of the haunt there. You cannot ask for a better setup play. So, yes, we've seen that kind of early push, that early control from the goats, but it was actually so the Wolfhounds can get all this space. And speaking of Wolfhounds getting space, that's 1, that's 2, and that's gonna be a 3K! Username password starts off the pistol beautifully for the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, indeed. Although,
I already have bad dreams.
yeah, unfortunately it is the goats on the attack. So we will get the overlay. The overlay will get fixed at some point. Here we go. It's Cash is on it. Cash is on it. It's fine.
Cash is on it. For anyone that doesn't know as well, my feed was upside down before this started. I was getting absolutely. Production has been absolutely bullying me, and I've probably deserved it. But yes, a solid first round for the goats. Apologies, and it looks to be a fast second round coming through already.
Yeah, Kobol's really wanted to do something there as Wolfhounds looking to find some kind of crunch on mid. Flash comes in, but username password again with a double is finally taken out, but really it's just a formality. Wolfhounds, they tried something cheeky and it didn't work out, so the goats get themselves up to 2 and head into the bonus with some really nice economy as well.
I mean, yeah, one player lost. A big deal, and I always talk about this whenever like one player kind of starts to get those opening frags. Eagle on the 3K is good, but arguably goats are, of course, happy that you get the frags, but the fact it goes to that Cypher that I actually talked about earlier, who, in my opinion, been kind of phased out of the game, username password obviously still opting for it. The fact that you've got 6 ult points towards the neural theft, when you've got so many other ultimates, you've got Nightfall, Viper's Pit, you've got Overdrive for the side of the goats, it does feel a little bit unfortunate. There's not much you can do about it, but even still, for anyone that's not heard that audio cue before, that's what Vito's utility sounds like, and it is a terrifying beast to try and deal with.
Yeah, the interceptor there has timed out, so no more utility getting taken away from the side of the goats. If you're unfamiliar, just imagine Jaeger from Rainbow Six Siege, and you pretty much have the picture.
Oh yeah,
Kobol's
that's actually, yeah, I like that.
Is here on A main though. With the shotgun, that's a nice 3K. Hello. Username password. Hero from round number 1 does at least take him down, but in a 2 versus 4, it still feels like Wolfhounds are going to be able to drag the bonus off the across the line. Sorry.
Yeah, and with LWS there, I mean, the Vito is just slowly but surely coming through. You've got a 4 versus 2. Left. The Vandal as well online. LWS, the timing as the smoke dissipates. So the shot's initially a bit scary, but will absolutely pick up his frags and get that ultimate ability online. So I said, Charlotte, that it is quite a... It's quite a wacky ultimate. Would you love to do the honors and tell the beautiful people at home what Vito's ultimate does?
Yes. Okay. So I have the official like description here. So it's called Evolution. Instantly begin to fully mutate, gaining a combat stim, regeneration, and becoming immune to all forms of debuffs. It's quite strong. It's quite strong.
It's quite strong. Now, to anyone that's wondering, because there's actually a little bit of inconsistency there. Vito can take a Raise Rocket to the face. That technically counts as a debuff somehow.
Yeah.
Any flash, any stun, any neon that gets in the way of LWS apparently will immediately fall. But yes, the Vito ultimate is essentially, it's a kind of ISO ult, but with additional steps.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Lewis might not even need the ultimate in this round. Already finding the opener, and Kianci the next to face the lead from his gun. Porridge is there to trade though, so Goats keeping this within distance, but that's a nice shot from Akira. Ash locking things down in mid as well. And suddenly, Wolfhounds look like they're in control. Porridge is going to have to ace this one. And he's in a 1 versus 4.
Gun here.
wackier things have happened this series alone of WEL9, let alone before the rest of WEL, but might be a touch too far. That's how you start this off. Kobolds is making quite a bit of noise, but he will manage to get the wallbang, of course, supported by Ash as well. It was going to be a touch too far for Porridge. A very clean, very quick equalizer. The overdrive now online for the Wolfhounds as well. Something I've talked about very quickly just before you know, we get back into this 5th round is Jet falling off has actually meant that the economy in this game has become a lot more respected again. Neon and such like that, Chamber, all good at cheating the economy, but not quite as cleanly as Jet would do it, I'd say.
Stop them, please. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't really seen the rest of Vito's kit come into action, or really any of Vito's kit come into action so far. Often over here towards B, and the interceptor is up again. Chokehold taken away as well. So no utility coming through, but the players from Goats rushing forwards. Lewis, though, he's got a Vandal, and he's making it work for now. Runs out of bullets, and in fact can only get 1. Porridge down to 10 HP. Wolfhound still in with the advantage, but Goats have planted the spike.
Maybe a belt-fed Vandal could be in the cards for the next update, which is essentially an Odin. And speaking of, now here we go. The overdrive already popped. Kobolds is able just to kind of slide in. We've seen Eagle just try and hold that angle in the box. Bazay just cutting him down. It's a nice shot from Kianci. Does actually get the Nightfall online because of it, but other than that, it's going to be the Wolfhounds to take 3 consecutive rounds very, very decisively from what started as a very confident opening double from the Goats here. So, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we said it was going to be a back and forth, and I think, if anything, we are being proven correct.
Yeah, for sure. That was honestly the closest round, I think, in terms of the ones that the Wolfhounds have won. And it was when Goats had an eco. So, you know, this is often the way things go in Valorant. Just never the way you expect. And Kobolds now has an operator. One thing I'm looking at, again, is Lewis's ultimate. It's been a few rounds here, and he hasn't actually utilized that ability yet. Perhaps this could be the chance. There's the first kill. Porridge also caught out, and this gets taken down. Shots through the wall, and now Zay spotted out the neural theft, giving that information away, but he's been used as bait for Kobolds to go fishing and find the kill. Chazza also falls at the hands of Akira, and now Kianci also has to find a 1v4. That headshot makes it more difficult, but the kill onto Zay. Rushing in is Kobolds, and the shorty is enough.
The aftershock as well. Kianci had nothing really to work with, and I want to talk about that a bit more because, Charlotte, I think you, maybe alongside me, I have always been someone that points out the ult economy in this game because I think it is so important. Lewis has now lost a second ultimate with Vito because of his not refusal, but reluctance, let's say, to get that ultimate popped. Yes, of course, I mean, he's, you know, 10 and 5. He's doing absolutely phenomenal, but your ultimates are only as good if you can get them used. And what was that, a 3k into death, or at least a 2k into death? That is half of the evolution already bought up there. So yeah, if you can use it, just, you know, pop it, give yourself the advantage. And it looks like maybe this time he's learning, he's requesting it, he's popped down the kind of the trap that Fade sees with extra steps. He's still in the corner though. Is he gonna pop anything? There's so much utility waiting for him here. I'd love to see it.
No, the teleportation taken away, and instead he just gets ahead of things. Porridge catches him out. And for the first time in a while, Wolfhounds find themselves in a disadvantage. Eagle rushing in, Zay unable to land the shot for now, but the follow-up is found. Kobolds again pushing in, pushing the advantage. There's a kill from Ash, and Porridge is the next to fall as Wolfhounds, the fight back in is absolutely perfect.
I mean, you want to talk about retakes? You want to talk about clinical ability to just walk back onto a site without using really much? You know, I mean, you have the Rolling Thunder online. You had the Hunter's Fury, neither of which had went down. And I think this is actually the problem with, and we've seen this happen quite a few times with teams that go against Wolfhounds. It's not just a Goats issue. Goats, phenomenal team, very much fond of their aggression, very much fond to kind of just take their fights and win. The Wolfhounds are so good at forcing any opponent they play against to play on their pace. The Goats were winning this whenever they were able to rush it down. When they were able to play that kind of quick speed, they were able to make this work. But now that they're being shut down, now that the Wolfhounds are kind of able to contain them, it's a bit of a different story. Finally, though, Eagle just pops the overdrive, walks onto the A site, says, we are done and dusted. 3 members of the Wolfhounds have fallen. So he needs to land this shot. Chazza drops him and follows it up onto a 3k onto the Lewis, and surely we see some of these ults.
Yeah, I mean that round. Okay, that round isn't as much of a pointer to it, but I just want to say about these ultimates from Lewis as well. I know it's something we've talked about for a few rounds now, but I mean we could be up to almost 3 already.
Yeah, I
said.
think
We're
so.
still sitting on the same one, and the problem is that he's often the first line of defense here on the B site, which means he doesn't get a lot of opportunity to use these ultimates. Goats aren't necessarily using many debuff things to actually get themselves onto the site. They're taking the fights as a death ball, and you can see it again. 3 players here about to swing Akira inside of elbow, but he's able to take down Porridge and get out of there. Bit of discipline being shown where perhaps we haven't seen it from Lewis, and again, more opportunities to use these ultimates now from the Wolfhounds.
Excellent peek. It does bring out the shot, but Chazza then re-swings and still gets found out. Excellent timing from Username at the very least. Meanwhile, actually, on that flank watch, Lewis falls yet again. Kianci is able, sorry, to get the frag, but look at this timing here. Look at this, Zay able to shut it down, but that's not the spike down. A massive deal here. Eagles managed to get the market control. Meanwhile, dodges the paranoia, gets a frag, a 2 versus 2 from the Shadows Online. Arguably, in my opinion, the weakest ultimate in the game, but for moments like this, just to create, fittingly enough, a bit of paranoia, a bit of confusion, it can work wonders on this post plant.
Absolutely can. Ash is on 30 HP though. That's what we need to be careful about. He's been able to sneak through the angle for now. Eagle still watching a different way, but now gets suspicious. That's a nice shot from Zay. Now it leaves username password in a 1 versus 2, but again, the low health on the player. They're still not near the spike, and it's a wrap around. Ring around the Rosie. Where are we looking now? The first tap comes through. They're getting suspicious of this. Double swing. Zay goes out. Username password can only find 1. And Wolfhounds with plenty of time on the defuse. Turns out the 30 HP was enough.
That's mad. That's absolutely wild. Username password done the hard bit. Username and password, he landed the headshot onto Zay. That was the character, that was the player on full HP. All he had to do was just keep that spray going and transfer 1 bullet, and it just wasn't meant to be. And again, we're talking about these ultimates. To be fair now, I mean, Chaz has been sitting on the Viper's pit for a while. Kianci has had that Nightfall for some time as well. Maybe a little bit of fear that we might be learning about this, because Vito is so new that maybe the Goats are respecting just Vito's existence too much. You don't want to use any ultimates because Vito cancels all of it. He kind of functions as a Viper pit in that way, where if you just stay still, if you just stand and watch an entryway, you're not going to get flashed, you're not going to get stunned, you're not going to get anything. Meanwhile, Rolling Thunder goes down, finds nothing, and finally, after all this time, the Interceptor's alive, and the evolution, for anyone that doesn't know, lasts a full round. It does not end until Lewis is dead.
Face your fear!
Here goes the Nightfall. Zay unable to teleport away for now, but the operator shot is still absolutely massive. Porridge has planted the spike, but Lewis still here, inserted on the site, and Porridge not aware of the angle. Oh, the shots go wide. It's the operator instead. And Eagle, all he can do is just watch 3 players swing at the same time. Wolfhounds continue to press forwards. A 7th now secured, and a win on the half for definite.
It's a big deal. And I actually very quickly, because I have never, that is the first time I have ever seen Vito's ultimate get used. Didn't realize that like his full player card and everything changes. That goes hard. That goes real hard. Very nice. Like honestly, just a big deal from the designers on Riot. That is clean as hell. But I mean, you kind of mentioned it, Charlotte. Lewis doesn't really need to. It doesn't seem to need to rely on any of the utility. He's really happy just taking these fights, and even, you know, if that first line of defense kind of falls, there always seems to be someone there to back him up, and we're starting to see now they're just complete disrespect towards the Cypher Cam. The From the Shadows comes through, the timing in the back line. Meanwhile, Eagle, though, is able to pick up Akira. All the ultimates are suddenly being thrown out at each other. Kobolds has actually managed to stem the tide, the onslaught that was on his way. That was such a crucial kill. The proactive Vipers pit, but Lewis just picks up all the frags regardless. Yes, okay, it is still up, but it's 1 or 2 men against the world.
2v4, and there's Lewis with the cross current teleporting across the map. Username password has been able to catch that out, and Kobolds gets the spot. And there's the kill. Zay finds username password. Now a 1 versus 2, and despite the pit on that kind of HP, it's not going to matter.
Last round before the switch.
Zay, much more comfortable to be the pit boss right now than Chazza is, and we're starting to see actually the scary part of running a double controller on attack, where if you're not able to get that Viper wall to just kind of force value, I mean, Wolfhounds have been taking a lot of these fights on full health. They're not allowing Goats to get much value out of the Viper wall, which is really difficult to deal with because you can't move it. You can't move the Viper orb either. All of her utility is once it gets used and once it gets planted, that's it, done and dusted. So Goats may be struggling off the back of it. We will see though, this is the last round, if this round swap or if this half swap is going to do them any favors. Lewis very much overcommitting in my opinion there. No backup.
He could TP out.
Even still.
He could have TP'd out there, and that's an upgrade available to be collected for the Goats if they want to risk it. They came into this round with 4 Guardians and a Phantom, I think. But now they can pick up another rifle, and, you know, 8-4 is now looking more and more possible, especially with a 5 versus 2 about to come through here on A.
Can Ash hold his ground? Can he do it with the backup of Akira? That's a beautiful one. Beautiful second. It's a beautiful second. It may. There's still quite a bit required, but it's a beautiful From the Shadows as well. Yeah, Zay. Oh my! Username password doesn't care. Walls are just a suggestion. He believes he's playing Corrode, not Sunset. As the headshot goes through the paranoia as well, and the retake on board for the Goats to try and get the 4th.
Kobolds has been able to drop the operator and pick up a rifle, but username password is there with the wrap. Kobolds just can't do anything. Up against 3, it's not enough. And Goats find their 4th. It's not the end of the world as they now head onto their defense. But this pistol round might be crucial.
What we might start seeing here, and again, this is looking forward into the future. Of course, pistol round's going to be a big deal, but for anyone that's maybe a bit curious as to what happens, Lewis can just walk through Cypher utility. Doesn't get scanned, doesn't get spotted, doesn't care. Doesn't even have to stop moving. So essentially becomes a kind of walking, rolling thunder. And from the shots that we've seen that Lewis hit on the defense, that might be a concern for the Goats here, because defense usually relies a lot on that kind of Cypher setup, especially on the B site, which is why we actually see Chazza going to try and support him, and the B site already being completely dropped onto the market door, just barely shotting at Goebbels' face, and meanwhile Chazza managing to pick up the opening frag for that 1 lurk down on the B main.
Yeah, that forces the rotation out here from Wolfhounds as well. Suddenly, they don't like what they're seeing over on the western side. Instead, the creep towards A. 4 players in this group. Clearing elbow. Eagle in the corner, though. Might be the next port of call. Porridge is also here. Paranoia out. That's a perfect blind. Players near-sighted, but the stun comes through, and Kobolds trying to push the advantage. They're giving chase to these defenders on the side. Eagle swinging round. Has been taken out. Gets the kill. Everything going wrong now for the Wolfhounds as the Goats get themselves a 5th. An Eagle with 3 gets them across the line.
Now that's more what I'm talking about there if you're wanting frags. Eagle already with a 3k. Again, fittingly crosses the line on his own. 3 out of 8 already for that overdrive. Opting initially for the Outlaw, but actually we're seeing a full buy up here. Chazza, the only one opting to keep the Sheriff. And I don't mind this. I think we still see a lot of teams kind of go, okay, if one person buys, we all need to buy. But if your positioning is good, if you're kind of playing off of each other, your executes and such are coherent and clean enough, you can cycle that gun. You can have one person just play with a Sheriff like Chazza, because you can maybe pick up the Spectre, you can pick up the Phantom from your teammates' corpses. It's a bit of a grim statement to say, but in Valorant it can make all the difference.
I love the start of this round from username Password as Porridge finds the opening kill and Lewis gets caught out. What they did is they threw down the cage and the spy cam in towards B main and then popped the cage instantly. Clearly expecting some kind of fast play out from the Wolfhounds. We saw them try something quite aggressive in the pistol, but instead not to be, and you know, just falls back, allows himself to just get the other position and find that kill. Really nice work, and KNC here on top mid has done some pretty good shooting as well. As Akira's also falling. It's a flawless round from the Goats. That's exactly the kind of follow-up you want, because now this bonus, you can have as little investment as possible and your economy is going to be so damn nice for the rest of the half.
It's going to be clean. And if you actually look, you know, that economy you were talking about, Charlotte, Kobolds here is kind of having to make a risky play. They're really having to kind of bank on this Neon, this aggression, getting the space, getting the control. And 4 out of 5 players, yes, do have those heavy shields. But Ash, he's going against 2 operators, technically. And any damage that's done will, you know, upgrade those Outlaws into operators. So we'll see how that pans out. At the moment, a little bit of a slower pace. Most players from the Wolfhounds just kind of leaning towards that A side as normal. The tiles and the mid control. The stun comes through for it. Doesn't care, just pulls the trigger before he can get bullied. The Bucky misses!
No!
The Bucky misses! A tragedy!
Oh, it's an absolute disaster in A main. And the Goats have themselves the advantage. Eagle as well. Couple shots coming through, but Lewis just about able to survive. Akira can't say the same. That's a nice swing, Phantom in hand. Now Porridge is under quite some duress actually here.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Out of his mind.
I don't know if you've seen it, that he stopped himself from reloading. He pulled out the classic. He pulled out the classic in the last second. He stopped the Outlaw from reloading there, and that didn't give Lewis the information. That is such a tiny play that actually could have came back, because, as you said, Charlotte, you know, he was under quite a bit of duress. He could have just been capitalized upon and exercised upon, and suddenly, because of that, oh, the fake TP. I love the attempt, but username password, the timing just too good.
Yeah, I also love the attempt from Chazza at the wide swing. Obviously, the whiff wasn't quite as good, but the wide swing was a nice play there. Yeah. Again, this goes to prove that you can do the right thing and still not actually win out your gunfights. Played it exactly as he should have. But either way, that's a 3rd round on the board for the Goats. A bonus converted, and well, they can just keep going forwards now, Maddante. If you know, Wolfhounds are back down on a save, and it looks like they're trying to death ball themselves up through B. But Goats should be sitting pretty here. The problem is that often these 4th rounds, you can easily get thriftied here. I often call it the hardest round to win in Valorant, just because of how many times we see it go wrong.
And it does, because it relies so much on the utility. If you've got the weaker guns, your utility needs to be on point, and that's exactly what we're seeing right then and there. The flag's still going the way of the Goats. I say that! I cast or curse it very
It's the hardest round, Maddante!
It's the hardest round indeed! Suddenly a 3 versus 1. Porridge definitely, though, a player that can do this, but all the guns in the way of the Wolfhounds here. Ladies and gentlemen, just hold your breath.
He's been spotted by the TP there as well. Akira and Zay both low on health. Ash needs to be careful here. Let's 3 up close, and the judge is just the nail in the coffin there. When the Goats look like they might be able to get off to a flying start here after the switch, instead the Wolfhounds maintain their advantage and stay 2 rounds ahead.
She's a prophet. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's
in
the
the
hardest
chat,
round.
she is a prophet. I want to be hearing that. I want to be echoed through. In no way should anyone be taking that. In no way should any Thrifty be on your screens. But that's exactly what the Wolfhounds do. The use of utility, the positioning, that flash into the neon swing from Akira and Kobolds is always something impressive to see. Porridge gets away with his life. How does he manage that? He walks back. He's trying to take this. No way. Okay, the disengage and Kianci backs him up, but that's a lot of space taken.
Yeah, honestly, that's again a util combo that should have worked there for the Wolfhounds, but Porridge just about had the schmoves to get out of that situation. A sticky one though for sure. And Kobolds has been spotted in the corner. Snakebite doesn't quite land, and well, Kianci's the first to fall. Trade onto Ash, and again, Porridge expecting the neon close. Just sitting here watching the angle, knows that the spike is in his crosshairs. He gets a second on the round so far.
This is massive, because if you're very locked into what you're seeing on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you might not see what's been happening in the background here. Two members, one in the defense and the attackers, username password Lewis, have swapped sides. So now all of a sudden, there is a Venus flytrap here. Whoever is the victor of these fights is going to open up so much for their respective team. Lewis just holding his ground. He doesn't need anyone else.
That's an absolutely massive 3k from Lewis. Username password, I was about to say called out in mid, but Akira can't land the shot, and suddenly there's a bit of danger thrown into the mix. Lewis is on 40 HP and has been taken down, surely not in the 1 versus 1. Cage triggered, tripped, username password comes out of the smoke, but Zay just about holds his nerve.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to say it too early, but with the way these teams are both playing, with the back and forth we are having,
don't do it. Don't do it. You'll cuss. No.
Okay, you're right. You know what? My beloved co-caster is absolutely so right, and that is why I get to cast with you, is because you keep me in check and stop the caster curses from doing us so many disservices. But for the moment, we'll quit the caster cursing, and we've got a lot still for both teams to work with. The economy now built a little bit back up. The Goats working with the overdrive. Not much else in the meantime, but a very aggressive angle here from Kianci, and that Prowler coming through is close. Gives the Wolfhounds a little bit of information. I love how proactive both of these teams have been about taking space on this map.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see, actually, just how much we've been seeing this sort of horizontal line across the middle of the map be respected. Really, that's the edge of the territory. A lot of the time we see defensive teams a bit further back on their sites, giving the attack a bit too much space, but the Goats have been limiting it so far. Obviously, with the weaker purchase, there are going to be some gaps in the system, and right now that's mid. As we see Wolfhounds entirely up this way, but the overdrive popped from Eagle. Gets the Goats in the advantage and the ascendancy yet again. More shots sent on through. But this is good information. And yet again, the Goats are just kind of being contained. They don't actually have that much space. It's just the top mid area. So many flanks able to happen here from the Goats, but they're not doing that for now.
It's a big kind of commit, actually, to circle back onto B main here from the members of Chaza and username password here. No noise actually been made just yet. The control on the site, 13 seconds as well. The from the shadows just for the information. That's huge. That's a big thing for username password. Gets him the information on Ash. The neural theft comes through. Actually, the evolution, I believe, stops that wall scan. So we're maybe not exactly sure where Lewis is right now. And Akira with a beautiful shot. The Rolling Thunder just thrown down. Surely this cannot go any other way.
Oh, it's now a 1v4 for Lewis, and there's just too many angles. The ultimate doesn't stop bullets, and, well, that's exactly the problem. Goats stop the drought and get themselves around on the board.
a lot used to do that. The Wolfhounds especially actually rolling Thunder committed and the evolution. The mutation comes through and it's not quite enough at the end of the day. Goats very happy about that performance, and if they could do one more like that, they're not going to have to worry about too much. Yes, the overdrive comes online, so Kobolds can maybe cheat out an economy side for the Wolfhounds if he so pleases, but other than that, Goats have kind of weathered the storm right now. It's just about getting their footing back on this mountain to begin the climb up to those double digits.
Yeah, just 2 rounds separating things, and, you know, one swing of the economy, and that can very easily be clawed back. Right now, Lewis on the insert B main is going to be able to spot some players, but unfortunately caught out. Unfortunately, though, for the defense, Wolfhounds have the rest of their forces over on the eastern side. KNC is in trouble, but at least finds one, and that's a spike down. Delays a bit of time and buys a bit of space, really, for the rest of the team to come through on the retake. Wolfhounds still behind in the man count. Well, not anymore with Akira finding that kill. It's a 2 versus 2, Maddante.
Last player standing.
No wide swing. No wide swing shall be swung this day. Chazza drops, and in the background, Porridge has unfortunately been minced up. And an impressive, I like the attempt to go for the wide swing, I really do, but seemed to just a bit of prepness there. I mean, Akira, I want to actually call out Akira right now. Yes, 12 and 13, but you look at those 7 assists and you look at the kind of moments Akira has had. You know, that flash very deep into that kind of A connector side, then to swing long the way they did. A phenomenal shot off the back of it opens up the rest of the round, and now we see a very proactive Viper's Pit. Pretty common place to be said, but we'll see if it will be respected by the Wolfhounds. I believe it would be, but again, just to consider, Lewis doesn't obviously have the ultimate, but if he did, he could just walk into that Viper's Pit like nothing ever impacted him.
Oh, that's a nice spy cam as well there from username Password. Nearly got caught out by Lewis, but instead the judge in the smoke. Exactly what the doctor ordered, but a 4 versus 4 still, as a Goat falls top mid, and username Password also hits the deck. Paranoia out from both sides, Kobolds rushing forwards. And now A, the point of focus here for this attacking side, Porridge. The TP into elbow has been spotted. Wolfhounds aware of this position, and Zay on the insert. Up in top mid, gets caught out by Chazza. 3 on 3, but Eagle low on health, and the Aldrone coming through. Porridge has been spotted. No spams available. Wolfhounds just slowly crunching on this position. Now they're in the advantage. Map point just a couple of kills away. And Goats are up against it. Time isn't on their side. The spike ticking away as it starts to speed up. Acceleration in the play is necessary. Flashpoint still just prepped as the first tap comes on through. Hunter's Fury. That's a kill onto Eagle. Chazza gets one, but there's no opportunity. He's going to have to save, and Akira still hunting him down. Is going to be able to remove the weapon from his hands as well. That's 12 for the Wolfhounds, just 1 away from taking Sunset.
Always and forever, Sova is going to be a pain on a post-plant scenario like that, because he does eliminate a good 6 or 7 seconds. The moment you think you've got that time, you've got a little bit of space, and you hear that nowhere to run, and you realize that you've never had any time to get that spike diffused and played to perfection. 4 rounds the Wolfhounds have to work with. Yes, they want to end it here and now, but they can run down the Goats. They can play a little bit of attrition. I mean, this Nightfall is able to find any value. It might run out, but never mind. The Fry Cook is here to see, is here to cook up enough of a meal. And sure enough, it seems to be going the way of things as I say the 3 came out of nowhere. And a judge lurked by username Password. I thought that was the beginning of the end, but maybe this is the end of the beginning for the Goats.
I'm lost for words, Maddante. I can't lie.
That was bonkers. That was bonkers.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we press onwards here on Sunset. Goodness me, not the end of the map just yet. Still enough in the coffers for the Wolfhounds here for this round, but another loss and things start to get a little bit more dangerous. Spycam cut out inside of B main. Username password is going to have to be careful here, but Eagle is the one to fall. There's a judge from Kobolds, and now here comes the Rolling Thunder. Kinsey has the trade, though. The Rolling Thunder really didn't buy much space at all. There's the flash, though. Username password still gets 2! Ridiculous work from him! 2 rounds in a row, and Ash is left to clutch. The Sova in a 1 versus 3 and just 39 points of health to his name. Spotted inside of B main, has the spike and still a minute to work with. He's going back in for this though, once more. And he's just going to get led to the face. 12-10, that's double digits.
And that's not much left for the Wolfhounds to work with. Yeah, Ash going for the buy, but other than that, you've got Kobolds trying for that kind of clutch shotgun play again. Everyone else on Sheriffs, but I think this is a similar buy round to Charlotte, the one you said, the hardest round in Valorant to win. And we'll see if the Goats can convert it. If they do, they've kind of survived everything. If they can do this, especially without burning the Nightfall, they'll have that Viper's Pit ready for next round. They'll have the Nightfall. I mean, if they need it, they use it for this round because it's use it or lose it at this stage. But if they can manage to just get the control, a 4 stack towards mid, trying to cut off as much space, prevent the Wolfhounds from gathering anything, playing those closer angles with that weaker buy is an absolutely beautifully proactive play, and we'll see if it pays off for them as the execute comes through.
Eagle just waiting in the wings. Goats here, they're perfectly happy to play the retake.
I'm out of here.
But they're allowing the Wolfhounds to get into positions here, and they're actually pushing up forwards in towards Boba. Akira gets cut down, but there's a trade from Porridge, and actually, it's the Wolfhounds that are finding the kills. Username password is left in a 1-on-4 with just 11 HP. Brought it down to 1-on-3. Kobolds rushing forward, also cut down. Oh, surely not. This would be a ridiculous clutch, but this Thrifty should never be coming on through, and Ash is just waiting with the Hunter's Fury, and it doesn't even matter. No overtime, no prospect of an 11th for the Goats. It's 13-10, and it's the Wolfhounds winning their opponent's map pick of Sunset.
What a map one. Oh, I mean, we said right at the start, ladies and gentlemen, how this was going to look. We said that this was going to be close. We promised good Valorant, and I don't think you can doubt for a second that is what we've just seen there. Excellent coordination, excellent cohesion, and overall just a clinical show from both sides. But it's just at the moment the Wolfhounds coming out on top.
Yeah, for a second there, Maddante, I thought you were going to say, and I don't think we got it, and I was going to...
Wow.
I was going to be like, whoa, that's so rude, but no,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow, okay, I didn't know I was that toxic.
It's been a good map one. Clearly, we're going a bit delirious here on the casting desk. But, I mean, map one was a banger. Let's hope Abyss has something similar for us, and potentially we might even get to see Haven as well. All of that to come, though, after this break.
Heads up. Bad move.
One enemy remaining.
Go. I have the spike.
One enemy remaining. Spike down mid. Flawless. 30 seconds left. Last player standing. Last player standing. Spike down.
Nowhere to run!
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Last player standing. No chocolate. Last player standing. Attackers win.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back after a hectic map one. And of course, you got to see the highlights just going through there. Of course, myself and a blurry Charlotte. There
Fine,
she
we're
is.
back.
She's back. A blurry Charlotte. Absolutely phenomenal game one. We do have the stats and everything through. And Charlotte, I mean, if you want to walk us through that scoreboard a little bit, if you have it on hand, because there are some names there that are kind of a surprise, and some of those stats that are a bit less of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the player to sort of really shout out is username password. 25 and 17. Unfortunately, did not end up winning the map though with a 295 ACS. I mean, that's a crazy performance. The rest of the Wolfhounds can, you know, get a bit more on the level. Then we might have a game on our hands. But that was a Wolfhounds map pick, I believe. No, the Wolfhounds won the map.
Yeah, Goats
Sorry.
map pick. Wolfhounds win.
Yeah. So flip whatever I said around because the colors were different to how they started the game. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Goats picked the map, ended up losing it despite username password's, you know, MVP performance. Now we head on to Abyss, which again is the Wolfhounds pick. They're already 1-0 up. Things are looking destined for a Wolfhounds 2-0. But the Goats did win last time, and I feel like the 2-0 just feels a bit too simple. You know, it feels like we're begging for a map 3.
It's a bit too easy, isn't it? It's wrapped up a bit too nice and neat, especially for a map like Abyss, which, while not new by any means, I think a lot of teams are still kind of learning the very big nuances. Yeah. It did get a massive rework. B-site is got about 4 different basements that you can just kind of hide under the floorboards now. A lot of extra spots that are really difficult for a retake to come through. B-site used to be near impossible to hold once you got the plant because there was no real place to sit. You would just get utiled out, you'd get mollied out. There was a lot of stuff there. B-site and mid both now getting those big changes through, and especially with the playstyle we've seen from the Goats, especially, you know, that kind of aggressive, proactive map control. Would love to see how that translates on Abyss.
Yeah, and speaking of the changes to the B site as well, it's no longer as easy to just sort of hold things from main. So that's also the other consideration, you know, like we saw with the Pearl changes, like we saw with the Sunset changes as well. That there was honestly a bit of a scourge, I think you want to call it, of teams just sort of holding from off-site, from main, just chuck a smoke up and just spam the spike. So that's not as possible anymore, but what we are seeing is, again, a return to the veto for Lewis. This time, though, we've got Akira on the duelist, and Kobol's moving over to the chamber role, which is certainly quite interesting. And on the other side, we've got the what now seems like a classic combination. Perhaps maybe not as much with the Jet, but you know, Waylay plus another duelist is certainly a lot more common these days, and I'm also really liking that look.
Waylay, again, it's really cool what has been done, because with all of these changes and such, like, Waylay didn't necessarily need massive buffs or anything like that. We didn't need to see a rework or a change of her character. Waylay did just slowly but surely start to fall into place, kind of like what we've seen with Vice, kind of like what we've actually seen Astra managing to come back as well, because of these larger maps that are coming through. You know, Abyss, one of the biggest maps in the game. You know, Fracture and Breeze are both out, so I think it is the biggest map in the map pool.
Corrode as well is the rotate time on defense is ridiculous there too.
Yeah, Corrode's rotate is single-handedly the roughest thing to deal with. So having like those Yorus and those Neons, any kind of fast agent, you know, Waylay's another great example actually. Any agent that can kind of cut that down is a big help.
Yeah, indeed. So I don't know what. It's difficult. What comp do you prefer? Honestly, I think I'm leaning towards the goats here again. I really like the Waylay on this map, and I just think Vice is so fun as a Sentinel. And I don't know, Lewis didn't exactly convince me with the veto on Sunset, so we'll have to see whether this time we get something that sort of defines the character a bit more, because I think most of what they were doing, they could have just played as, yeah, for instance, like Chamber instead, you know?
It's a big deal. Like, whenever you do get to this stage, obviously you want to start looking at, you know, you need to start getting every little bit of value out of your character, and that's currently Lewis's that is probably something that we would say leaves a little bit to be desired. However, honestly, even just looking at the way this is set up, you know, you've got so much there. The Interceptor comes through. There's actually quite a bit that Vito can do to lock down this B site pretty much on his own, which we've just seen happen. However, I mean, Charlotte, you pointed out how much you like the Waylay, able to kind of shut that down in an instant. Meanwhile, the A push is already coming through. A trade either way. The bomb not just being able to go down due to that shock dart spam as a 4 versus 4 retake on the cards.
Lewis creeping round and catching Jem Bass off guard there. The pants down a little bit, but Goat's able to stabilize here. Kobles creeping around, Headhunter in hand. It hits like a truck in his pistols, but so does Chazza. A nice headshot, and well, the Goats get the pistol round, and I believe they've won 3 out of 3 so far in the series.
What the goats are able to do is work off of those kind of weaker guns. They're able to capitalize the utility. This is obviously the thing. Goats are arguably capitalizing off of the utility slightly better when the Wolfhounds don't have the kind of firepower to match that, or the firepower to retaliate. What we're seeing is once the Wolfhounds, you know, get the economy, get themselves comfortable, they don't really fully break. And I think that Thrifty, you know, the hardest round to win in Valorant, Charlotte, that I'm definitely going to keep using because it's a genius outlook to it. It is something that's going to be a big factor, but that pistol round, it's a good start for them, but they're running into a trap.
Yeah, going in though, Chazza still gets one. Eagle on top of the box from the top ropes, takes down Ash. He was at least able to find one themselves. The Vice falling, but Goats have the spike planted, and well, they're aware that Lewis is going to be on this flank as well. Not quite aware enough to prevent the pick, sorry, but saturate towards spawn. A little bit laboured, but it's all good. And Akira, shot down by Chazza. Brilliant sheriff shots and a 3K on the round. I mean,
First one was a warm-up.
Look at the duelist KDs, 5-0 for both of them. Ridiculous.
I mean, hey, and 2 big things. I mean, you've got what's actually arguably the scariest ult combination is that that Convergent Path plus Blade Storm, because it's difficult to aim against. Jet can go as high as she wants, and the Blade Storm will just carve you up. So this very aggressive style that I was talking about from the GOATs, maybe it was that just very movement focused, very heavy, you know, aggressive entry. That could be the difference maker here for Chazza and Kovalci. Yeah, we're going to see a little... Yeah, we love it. Love the cheeky use of the Waylay utility, and that's enough to go in.
Yeah, potentially just trying to get a little bit of information, but Eagle on the side, Chazza as well, finding the kills, and now username password in on the action. GOATs for the second successive half, looking like they want to set themselves up for a bonus conversion. But they still have to do it against Lewis and Kobolds, who are absolutely skilled when it comes to fragging. The two best players on Wolfhounds from the previous map in that department. But Lewis has been shut down. Now it's a 1-on-3 for Kobolds. Chamber absolutely made for these sorts of situations, but time just continuing to tick down. And honestly, Kobolds might just be looking to escape away from this one. I don't think there's an opportunity for a retake here, Maddante.
Nowhere close, just a bit too slow with it. The pace is, I like that slower pace, of course. You know, if any of the GOATs do get a bit overzealous, a bit overconfident, then yeah, you can absolutely use the Headhunter to perfection. I mean, 100 credits for 2,900 credits. If you land that headshot, it's certainly worthwhile to go through. But this time, yeah, I mean, that's a brutalized economy for the Wolfhounds. I said that, you know, their back wasn't really broken on Sunset, even with the kind of lower economy. This side, though, looking a little bit different. And, I mean, it seems to be, Charlotte, the way you'd kind of been more inclined towards the GOAT's composition looks to be at least maybe a correct inkling, at least thus far.
Now let's see. Can they win round number 4 this time around? Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Eagle so far. And again, the Sheriffs finding impact and value so far. Akira with the opener. And GOATs, well, they're going to throw the Vandal off the map. They do not want an upgrade in the hands of the Wolfhounds, sorry.
I mean, minor decisions like that, you're not going to think about it until, you know, the absolute limit, but those are the small difference makers. That stops anyone like Ash, anyone like Akira jumping through. You're getting the ult orb as well. You know, Eagle here, in theory, gets the ult orb, gets the Blade Storm off of it, and arguably, despite the fact that, yes, there's a little bit less information that the Wolfhounds are currently working with, do you grab that ult orb just to stop the Wolfhounds from getting at the oil drone? Trying to get as much information as it can, say, with the jump peak. And meanwhile, though, username password trying to open up the mid site. Kobolds, though, doing exactly what I said with that Headhunter, shuts it down. Eagles managed to lurk, though. This timing could be everything. If he jumps up here, it's perfect. He's just trying to hold the angle, but he pays for it dearly with his life.
The hardest round.
It's seriously, what is this? I've never seen this round be so difficult for Team So-In until you said this. What spectacle am I witnessing?
Dude, you're just not locked in enough. It's all the
I
time.
guess not.
But I really do back the timeout here from Chazza and the GOATs, because obviously we saw they had a brilliant start to the second half on Sunset. But you know, that fourth round loss, and then the things started to fall apart a little bit. Wolfhounds were able to get back in the game. This one, as much about the strats as it is the mental here for the GOATs. They're going to need to have a chat about what they can do in the future, because they also still have two players who are yet to find a pick.
You do have to consider those factors. At least, you know, credits to Bass, credits to Base, however he prefers to say it, whether he's a fish or a guitar. But one thing is for certain, at least the 3 assists do mean that the Astra Stars are getting its value, that the members of the GOATs are able to work around it. Kian C, who is normally a very strong anchor for the GOATs, who is a very reinforced pillar for the rest of his team to lean on. He's not quite getting that that value just yet. Still plenty of time for him to do it, but of course you want to do it sooner rather than later. You want to build up that confidence. You want to get that Hunter's Fury online as well, especially in a map like Abyss where the kind of the default plant spots are so consistent, are so kind of solved. And speaking of consistency and solved, you're not shooting Chazza out of the air like that, so a little bit of information gained. But so far, tentative playstyle for both halves.
Yeah, slow creep forward here on A. And it has been the destination in, I think, all of the rounds so far. Goats right now not set up to deviate from the norm. The star goes up and smoke inside of A main, forces more questions to be raised here for the Goats. They've only got 45 seconds left. And now as the time continues to tick down, a minute has elapsed of this round. They're just grouping up for this 5-person hit over on the eastern side. Wolfhands are guessing wrong though, they've got 3 on B.
30 seconds left.
This higher and lower, it's a big deal, but the flash is absolutely played to perfection. Both Kobolds and Akira having to get out. All the control is gained, and I would honestly love to see the Steel Garden get dropped down here. And it looks like that's about to maybe happen. Username, password, yes, drops it down. The reason I point that out is because the longer that the opportunity for the evolution has to come online from Lewis, then the less value that's going to find. But right now, it's actually opening pick. Goes the way of the Wolfhounds even so. The Blaze-Storm doesn't find any targets just yet. Yes, okay. Sofa Dart does get popped. The angle, though, Lewis plays it to perfection. The refrag is at least there, but there's not too much to be found unless Chazza. Unless Chazza, followed up by the rest of his team. That's right back online. I said not too much to be found, and Chazza has snatched the victory from what could have been the jaws of defeat.
Brilliant play there from the Waylay of the Goats. And yet again, it's the duelists who are in command right now. But let's not take anything away from JM Bass. 2 kills in that one. A pivotal 2 kills, really, because the round was still very much in danger despite the pop-off from Chazza. Now Convergent Paths online. I wonder if we're going to see this combination saved a few rounds, maybe to see it with the Sova ult. Potentially, that's a really strong combination that the Goats could use here. They've chosen to start on the attack here of Abyss, and well, my god, are they making that seem like the correct choice right now?
Hopefully they can continue to do so. Charlotte, you pointed out, you know, Waylay on this map, and Chazza has been using it to absolute perfection. We were saying that Lewis maybe not getting the most value out of, you know, his agent's utility. Definitely not the case there for Chazza's Waylay. And okay, as I say it, a bit more there actually getting caught out. A lot more Sofa utility being caught out because of it. And the guns are all coming out. The Convergent Pass actually just dropped immediately. Lewis somehow finding that shot onto Eagle is absolutely filthy, but still pays for it with his life. Only 1 member down for the Goats. The spike about to get planted. The Cosmic Divide online for the Wolfhounds if they so need. It does force those kind of slower, those kind of closer angles, but it's difficult to do that when 2 members of the Goats are in that flank, but Kobol's more than aware.
Yeah, I don't know if they know of Chazza being here as well. Both players already on the site, so Cosmic Divide just keeps them boxed in. Doesn't do too much! But there's Kianci, and there's Chazza for 2!
I mean, that's having that lurk, having that double commit up mid. That's you get that frag. You are Kobolds. You shoot someone with the op, and you go, yes, we made that read. You know, we covered the flank, excellent. But this is the proactive positioning I was talking about from the Goats that we've seen last map on Sunset. They will put 2 there. They might even put 3 because. What are you going to do? You have to get onto the site. You have to clear all of these potential angles. You can't give 20-30 seconds to assume that 2 people are going to be in your backline. You just don't have the time to do that. And Goats is positioning, the pacing off of it, flawless. And the setup here from Eagle, he's finding 1, but little does he know he is being baited. These somebody just to hide in the climbers. It's Shorty versus Classic. The Knife wins. It's Shorty versus Classic versus Knife. And the outcome is this Eagle has talons, ladies and gentlemen.
I got
That's absolutely ridiculous. But now we find ourselves in a 4 versus 3. The round still continues, Maddante. And Goats have planted the spike on B. Retake needs to be attempted here by the Wolfhounds. Creep into the angle, and Chaz's operator doesn't quite hit its mark. Lewis clearing that angle away, and now a reposition here from the Waylay. Spotted out by the drone, and there's a kill from Lewis. Ash as well. Sheriff doing bits. KNC though, and Chazza finding the impact they need. The impact that the Goats deserve from them. And now Zay left in the clutch. Tap on the spike, forcing his players forwards. And the shorty gets it done. Goodness me, that round was crazy, but the outcome is the same. It's a Goats victory.
I mean, what do you say there? Again, the showdown between between Eagle. Oh my days, between Eagle and Akira, absolute cinema, a moment for the ages. I have said a couple of times now, I've been like, okay, WEL 9 has had some mad moments, but back to back like this, such a proactive Hunter's Fury, and you know what? It does good damage. It does force Chazza all the way back. It gives so much potential control for this AME, and it's not being capitalized off of though. The patience actually from Akira here. Not sure how I feel about it. I would have maybe liked to see the aggressive cross, but if you're playing on your own, you maybe can't afford. Yeah, you can't really afford to give it there, but who knows? Maybe could have got away with something. We'll see. No, okay, Chaz is paranoid, so it turns out Akira's right to be the one playing, and I'm the one that should be on this desk.
Yeah, Kobal's got spotted in mid by Akira too, a jump spot. From Library, and again that pillar position has been spotted out, so that's more information. They know that the A site is likely quite weak, but Akira's still here and certainly putting up a performance. There's a double, and Ash has found 2 as well. An absolute massacre, bloodbath on the entry, and it's a triple from Ash to get Wolfhounds their second.
We'll see if it is enough. It's certainly a start, but some stories end up being a lot shorter than the author's plan. We'll see if that'll be the case for this comeback of the Wolfhounds. Is it going to be a wee mini-series, or are we going to get a fully fledged plot line? Only time right now will tell. Goats, though, with a lot of utility to work with. Their own Cosmic Divide, their own Hunter's Fury, and a Blade Storm as well. A near full buy. Well, a full buy for the Wolfhounds, a near full buy for the Goats, but of course the Blade Storm does essentially bridge that gap. Another 3-man stack for the Wolfhounds. They've been very good actually at getting these reads of how the Goats are going to be playing. Maybe a little bit predictable, maybe just excellent awareness, but either way, Chazza falls.
I mean, that's certainly predictable, and certainly a prediction from Akira, but the fight back through. Well, I was going to say it's doing well, but now just on KNC. A 1 versus 3 needed. So the drone spots him out, and the wrap coming through from Lewis. I don't think he's aware. A couple of rounds strung together, that's consecutive for the Wolfhounds, and potentially a way back into this map.
I would kind of like to see just a showdown on mid right now. I would like to see the Goats just take the fights that they've got. We see, okay, the timeout. I was going to say, if not a showdown on mid, then very least a timeout. And I believe that is Goats' both timeouts used already before they get themselves into this defense half. They want as many rounds on the attack, which makes sense. I mean, you've got that double Julius setup. You've got, you know, the Astra Sova. There's actually, to be honest, it's quite a aggressive composition here. You can't afford to give the Wolfhounds, you know, even maybe 2 more rounds, and suddenly the Wolfhounds look a lot more confident. So Porridge's going to have to really kind of regroup the team, regather the mental, rediscover some of the plans from the strat book, and we'll see if those are enough to stem this bleeding.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Using the timeout at 6-3 up is still a bit sketch to me, to be honest. But you know, they've got a couple of ultimates, you know, 2 away, and again, 2 away from the Convergent Paths, 1 away from Steel Garden. So there's possibility that, you know, they could be setting themselves up for some kind of set piece.
Transfer ready.
Again, potentially revolving around that combination between the Whale ult and the Sova ult. They're very, very powerful together. And all you need is one orb or one pick to get it done. PNC droning ahead though. Again, the early A main look. I don't know if Akira got spotted, but certainly will have been now, as now Eagle dashing in, but Zay finds a double. Collateral there in A main. There's 2 kills in response. Make it 3 from Eagle. The A side under the control of the Goats. They're not out of this half just yet. They want to claim the advantage heading into the switch.
I was about to say, you know, maybe the Wolfhounds had figured the Goats out. Just we'd seen those stacks before, we'd seen that aggressive kind of play, but the Goats saying just because you know our strat doesn't mean you're able to, you know, prevent it from working out. And somehow, despite that more predictable angle, Charlotte, that me and you said, the Goats have arguably made this work. But the timing here, Chaz, that this angle is everything, and he is able to find the frag. JMBS though, maybe a little bit overzealous on it. Chazza trying to jiggle peek. He doesn't know that Kobels has already moved, but the timing here, okay, not able just to find it. And as the spike ticks away, the op maybe not even going to be saved. The shot, it doesn't find its mark. And yes, okay, Eagle might not be able to get out with his life, but a Vandal for an operator, I think you know which trade you'd rather make.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's some massive damage. Still able to reinvest here though from the Wolfhounds, but that does do significant damage to their economy. And in fact, Kobels, I was going to say won't have a weapon, but obviously his ultimate is online. Tour de Force already popped. This is a big ultimate. You know, it's essentially you get an operator, you don't need to invest, and you know that's the perfect time for it to come through. Goats will be aware of it now with the voice line singing out across the map. Eagle's position is being watched for here. There's the shot. Convergent paths isn't going to matter.
The double Sentinel TP out, but the angle from username password and JMBase off the back of it. But another op looking at this angle here, Akira. This box, this single box is actually such a pain to deal with if you're an attacker. It just creates that a little additional space for you to work with. JMBase though, the Cosmic Divide, both I believe, yeah, getting dropped across fire between those walls, and very, very difficult stuff to hear. Akira actually already getting the defuse to have. Chazza not sure if he's got the time, and he gets the shot. The one he that's enough. He stops the defuse, and because of that, JMBase able to bring down his counterpart, and from the jaws of defeat, victory is ripped yet again.
Goodness me, Maddante, how many times have we seen these rounds on just the absolute precipice, the knife's edge, but the Goats come out on top yet again. I mean, I thought with that ult going down, you know, the Cosmic Divide cutting off the attackers in main, I thought that was it. I thought that round was gonna be done. But instead, it's a double kill to come on through that opens things up again. And JM Bass, just the last line of defense. Well, everyone's focus was turned toward Chazza, I think it was.
I mean, hey, for some of us, that's the impossible. For Chazza, that's a Monday, in fact, actually. I was going for the Street Fighter quote, but for Chazza, that is just a regular old Monday. And
another
the double jump. Believe me, those files have been printed, shipped, and moved on. Goats looking for a 9-3 here. The economy not great.
Oh, nice shot from Kobels though. And again, as soon as Akira had lost that dash, it did start to panic a little bit. Interceptor does do a little bit, takes away the saturate, but no player there to be caught by it anyway. Overall, bit of a zero-sum game as the spike goes down here on B. And sorry, not Akira, but Eagle was the one to fall there in mid. Make sure all the ducks are in a row. And the Wolfhounds are going to have to do that as well as they prepare for this retake. Especially now with the Steel Garden being ripped. Primary weapons taken away from them. And now Akira does fall. Username password in the smoke as well, hoping to try and come through, but Chaz has fallen off the map. That's now an opportunity that's presented itself here for the Wolfhounds. Hunter's Fury gets the damage. Ash also tagged, but still able to sit down safe. Kianci got the push up and Zay with the lineup.
My ult is ready.
It's an 8-4 half, but this time the other way. As the Goats now have the lead, heading into the switch.
Where there is a Will, there is a Zay, and Wolfhounds maybe not. Yeah, I'm sorry. But hey, you know what? I think Akira, there's a void there. Yeah, Chaza. When we last seen him before we cut away, he was swinging in. He had Kianci in his, or he had Ash in his sights. Sorry, he looked ready to get the frag, and then I did notice the kill feed, you know, looking maybe a little bit empty,
Right
maybe a little bit barren, and then Chaz's name popped up on it. A heartbreaking trip, stumble, and a fall right off a cliff into the next half. We'll see if that's pivotal, and we'll see right now. Can the Goats continue their pistol win streak?
Well, can they do it? They've won all 3 so far. Looking to add a 4th to the tally, and this time to get it up to 9-4, it certainly would be quite good for them. And Eagle finds the opener in a second as well onto Lewis. Nice shot from Akira though, gets out to safety. As we see Chazza do the same. Refract away from the situation. And Zay falling. I mean, I was going to say again, advantage to the Goats, but as swiftly as that thought enters my brain, Akira rips it out.
Puts a bullet in a different brain. And a nice shot there. The damage done to Kianci in the previous bag. I believe that was off the Astra. And yeah, that makes the difference. So suddenly now, I mean, there's one man that can do it though, surely, and this timing could be everything here. Kobol's not really ready, but still readjusts and finds a clean, crisp shot. The curse finally broken. 1 out of 4 pistol rounds go to the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, and if they won map 1 with 0 pistols, just imagine what they're going to be able to do with 1 on the board.
We'll have to wait and see.
Wonder.
Can they convert? It does make you wonder. These full buys as well. Nice to see the Guardians getting a lot of love. I mean, it's a big map, and there's a lot of these long angles here, so not at all surprising. The full buy for the Wolfhounds, they want to be able to keep this momentum. You can't really afford to give this up. You don't want to go to a 3rd map, and Goats, of course, doing everything they can to try and get us exactly to that destination.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And right now, the train is certainly rolling towards that next stop. Haven, the terminus station, but still plenty of rounds here on Abyss yet to find. And it starts obviously with round 14, the one we're currently in. Akira creeping forward and spotted. Eagle, and Kobol's has the catch onto Chazza as well. The attempt at the crunch, not quite executed, but Eagle finds a kill. Kianci on the site though, falling. And Kobol's is watching for Eagle's position here. So the spike should go down. Out goes the flash, and out goes the kill. Kobol's, there's a second, maybe trying to find a 3rd in here. But instead, it's actually Eagle and JM Bass to find the kill, so it's now a 2 versus 2. And this is winnable again. There's upgrades here for the Goats. And there's a kill from Eagle as well, Zay. It's all on your shoulders. Perhaps the most amount of pressure. Clutched up a 1 versus 2 though to end up the half. We're going to have to see it again. Eagle not aware of the position. JM Bass forced off of the spike as it still continues to tick. The death pile tolling! And that's a brilliant round from Zay. Just when it seemed that the Goats were able to pull off the impossible.
Honestly, the storyline between JM Bass and Zay's clutch performance right now, they always seem to be the ones that have gone against each other, to be the ones to seal the deal. And it's not a one-sided fight. Both of them have done some phenomenal stuff. We've seen JM Bass, yes, okay, 5 and 10. We would maybe hope to see a little bit more from him, but we can't deny that the kills he has got have been absolutely pivotal for the Goats and the rounds that they have converted. Meanwhile, you know, the opposition side, an absolute clean piece of work. Oh my days, this Oh, a
Man, that
heartbreaker
could have
for
been
Lewis.
so good.
That would have been sick. I would have loved to have seen that work out.
Yeah. TP up, cross current use, and actually the shield's been triggered here on A, so Goats bit of an idea that they might be looking towards this eastern side, but for right now, Spike's still in mid, not committed anywhere, and Wolfhound's just still poking, prodding, seeing what they can find. It looks like they might want to commit towards the B side of the map, and well, hang
Akira's
on a
timing.
minute here. I think
Akira's timing.
I think Akira's been able to get past this completely.
Oh!
Yeah, he has. TNC's fallen.
Oh, you could not say a more heartbreaking moment, and because of that, the gun is upgraded. Chazza falls, B site control
Spike
all the
planted.
way for the Wolfhounds. And I mean, 4 versus 3, there's a bit of that, decent bit of damage, I might say, done to Kobolds as he rotates through, but every advantage in the world suddenly there for the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, looking to bring us back within 1. No easy rounds here on Abyss. Every single one of them has been fought hard for. Tooth and nail. And Akira's finding that out the hard way. There's a kill. Eagle still
Oh my days.
providing protection. JM Bass though, the shock dart should end it. Left alone, had to try and defuse, but just not quite enough. And yet again, Wolfhound's quite close to bringing us level. They've done the bonus conversion. Can they win the hardest round in Valorant? Can they tie up the scoreline?
If this happens again, I swear to God, if this happens again, Charlotte,
It's the hardest round, Maddante. I don't know what to keep telling you.
and if you tell me enough, one day I might believe you. But I do, but to be honest, right now, this is certainly a case to be made for it. And now, can you convert with that tour de force with the blade storm? That's what you want to see. That's what you
Eagle!
want to see. Hell yes, swoop in, get yourself those
Oh my
frags
goodness.
and Chazza with the backup there. We did mention that double duelist, you know, obviously when you're going into defense, you don't get as much of a proactive play. Make it happen for yourself and you see the results.
Yeah, indeed. Wolfhounds have got to try and stave off a 2 versus 4. There is a tour de force in the hands of Kobolds, though. Problem is, they don't have the spike. In the middle of the library, drop down, and, well, 3 players watching all of these angles for the approach. Kobolds might be able to get some kind of teleport play up, but instead decides to try and do this alone. Eagle gets cut down. Blade Storm gone. That's a lot of the danger removed from the situation. But still, the spike remains unretrieved, cold on the ground.
And only 30 seconds left. You see all the stars being thrown, and yet again, it actually might come down to Zay and JM Bass. Look at the amount of utility being popped. Can't see. Pivotal frag, the surely attempted. Zay coming in from the heavens, but not quite able to land the shots. And I mean, when you've got as many Astra stars, a new galaxy being born in library with all of that Astra utility getting put down, and it does just mean that the Goats are the ones to emerge victorious, birthed bright from that supernova, and finally able to get around it in this half. It was 3 back-to-back for the Wolfhounds.
That'll work.
When are you going to accept that I'm right?
No, I'm never doing it. Don't make me do it. You're so right, but I don't want to accept it.
Get out of my way.
How is it so difficult to win?
I wish I could tell you. But Goats, they've got a bit of momentum back. Wind in their sails, it seems like. Chas has found the opening kill. Akira and Ash now on the B site. Okay, sure, why not? That's reasonable.
Give me those back.
And Akira's found a second as well. Wolfhounds found themselves in the deficit, but now 2 to the goods.
I mean, yeah, the Cosmic Divide as well. Don't mind it, to be honest. You kind of need those rounds anyway. The back-to-back. That's a 3 versus 2 versus
hello?
1. Okay, surely
Surely
Eagle
not.
can't. No, exactly. Surely he's
Surely
not
not.
given these fights. Surely. There's no Hunter's Fury, though. I mean, this was a big deal the last time. This was a massive difference maker on Sunset, was that Hunter's Fury for the post-plant scenario. But the positioning here from Zay and Ash just looks to be too awkward by the time all of this has been cleared out. I mean, it's a big deal. Eagle updrafts to survive, but at this time, there's no... Yeah, at this moment in time, the only thing that can be done is maybe a frag onto Zay, but Zay stands his ground, holds firm, and puts an 8th round for the Wolfhounds.
No easy rounds, Maddante. I said it earlier, and again, that's
Say
proven.
it again. Say it again.
Brilliant attempt from Eagle, now up to 26 kills. But in the end, it's just not quite enough. And Wolfhounds keeping the goats in check, an arm's length away. Just that 1 round deficit, and you look at the buy here from goats. This looks set to become a tie game, which always means that something ridiculous is going to happen. But right now, Wolfhounds, they're getting a lid on things. Lewis with the first kill, Kobolds again. Chazza at least gets something done, but now it's just username password left. Fairly routine, fairly standard, and yeah, everything works out as it should. No shenanigans, and a 9-9 score.
Potentially the only easy round out of these 18 that we have seen, honestly. That was the only round you can comfortably say went pretty damn one-sided. But, I mean, it was by design. The goats now have a full buy. They have 3 ultimates, nearly 4 if JM Bass is able to either get this plant or just get themselves a frag. Well, not the plant, I guess the defuse, if you want to look at that. Get themselves the defuse or try and get themselves a frag. Meanwhile, though, the other 3 ultimates, there's no mutation, there's no evolution there for Lewis either to survive the Steel Garden or the conversion pass. We'll see, it's an excellent flash, and it might be enough to stem the tide here. But Kianci shows his elbow, and Akira cuts him down for it.
These B-site entries from Akira have been absolutely magnificent, by the way. We saw it with the Blade Storm, now just with a regular rifle and Kobolds in mid. Ooh, has been caught out, actually. Thought he was definitely good for that one, but Chazza, not to be beaten.
I mean, there's one man who is going to, you know, take everything as hard as he can, and it is Chazza.
How does Eagle still get one?
Yeah, I was about to say, I was genuinely about to say, how does Eagle get one in that scenario? But surely the information's been gathered by the Wolfhounds. But yet again, you look at what happens. It's an attack side Wolfhounds with 1 ultimate on the board. And whose ultimate is it?
30 seconds
It's over.
left.
It's the Hunter's Fury. Ash, that one in pocket. But Chazza has a Convergent Paths as well, should they want to use it. Recon does scan out JM Bass. As the Asper smokes come up, and there's the ultimate coming through. Chazza using that one to perfection, but Zay again with the spray down.
Zay, how do you keep doing that? We mentioned it. I think this was before Sunset was even played. We mentioned all these additional little angles that are on the B side. How many additional spots that you have to clear, that you can sit in, that you can't just lie in wait and like a snake in the grass. And Zay, 20 and 12, living it up there with Akira, but more importantly, more assists than deaths. Yes, you're a controller, but that's still an impressive feat.
And now the Wolfhounds have the lead here. Goats watching that possibility of Haven slip through their fingers a little bit here. Dangerous, dangerous times indeed as... Well... The Canines have found their momentum. They found their way forward. Lewis spots out JM Bass. It's a little bit laboured, but still finds the kill. Eagle, a response, and again, these trades are so damn fast from both sides. Kobol's there with a headhunter. Now Wolfhounds have the advantage, and an operator in hand doubles down on it. A 4 versus 2. Wolfhounds looking like they want to get to 11.
Kobol's looks like to be the one actually just dragging his team you know, maybe kicking and screaming to that 11th round, a 3k, potentially on for a 4th. And it looks like, yeah, Chaz, I think actually maybe just gonna hunker down on this B site. He doesn't want that smoke. He doesn't want that concern. And honestly, with the way that the Wolfhounds have been playing, with the way Kobol's last few shots have been, I completely understand that sentiment. But you don't have many rounds to work with anymore. Only really 2 at this stage, honestly, before you've got to consider that overtime. But yeah, 4 versus 1. Even a man like Chaz, I'd say that's a bit of a touch too far.
As the spike detonates, Wolfhounds do find that 11th round. The real question is going to be, can Chazza survive? Keep the rifle in his hands. And indeed he is. He's going to find another kill for his troubles as well. Good damage on the board. But, you know, Wolfhounds won't really care anymore. They've got plenty in the coffers. Able to just buy right back up. And again, it's an awkward purchase from the Goats. A judge on side, a couple of Guardians. It's a rough one.
This is the God-send op from Eagle here. This has to find value, because if Eagle falls here, no shields at all to protect him, nothing to kind of be his insurance policy here. This is all or nothing, and the Goats are kind of treating it as such. They've got 3 ultimates to work out. The beautiful bait from Chazza and JM Bass, though, just off the back of that. Zip wire already on the point. The utility just back and forth and back and forth. Yes, the Wolfhounds are on, but they have paid the price with 1 member already.
They absolutely have. The Goats seeming a bit more confident on this side of the map. I mean, we saw them with many of their attack rounds ending in this direction. Now, Cosmic Divide, JM Bass, now under pressure from the Hunter's Fury and has been taken down. Chaz spots Akira as well, but Zay, again, that impact player, finally cut down by Eagle. A 3 versus 3, and again, the ultimate in the way, but Kobol's has the operator, and swiftly is fired back upon by 1. It's left up to Eagle. 1v2, and that operator in hand, it's just too difficult. He's got to save the sniper rifle. He's got to let Wolfhounds find series point.
Oh, I mean, I did say this was the make or break, and to be fair, yes, while it could be the beginning of the end, keeping that operator online and only having 1 surviving member of the Wolfhounds is kind of the best you can hope for if you're not going to get a round win. But
Look
now
at the scoreboard, Maddante. Like 32 and 16 and 24 and 13 are ridiculous performances from Eagle and Chazza. But you look at the rest of the team, they've got 22 kills combined.
Yeah, they have less kills than Chazza, not even less kills than Eagle.
Yeah, it's so rough, and this is what we saw in the first map as well. Username Password, by far and away the best player in the lobby, but didn't have the backup. And now this time, Chazza and Eagle finding the exact same situation happening. Lewis already up close and personal here on B. And again, it's Chazza to try and find something. Username Password in on the action as well. Kobol's tour de force watching down mid, but the B site falling apart right now. Wolfhound's in danger. Ash on 30 HP, and Goats are a player to the good.
I mean, they've survived a lot. Tour de force not going to be relevant now. Likely the Hunter's Fury not going to play a part here. We might see the mutation, the evolution come through from Lewis, but the Wolfhounds won't actually have too many ultimates unless they want to start playing very aggressive for that orb economy. And unless the Goats start to get a bit antsy, unless Eagle just hits W a bit too early, surely the Goats are able to take us at least to double digits, especially with Chazza getting that type of info. Yeah, exactly.
They've now know that Kobol's is here, but creeping up close, and Chazza has got to be careful. Ash still low on health, but somehow persisting and surviving, but not for long. The Goats stabilize, and they find themselves a much-needed round. It's certainly been a while. A string of 5 now broken. Surely this cannot be the start of the comeback for the Goats, because if it is, and we go to Haven,
Can the Wolfhounds
All
keep
bets are
themselves
off
going?
at that point.
I mean, all bets are off. I mean, as you said, looking at the Wolfhounds' performance, you've got everyone. Okay, even Lewis 11 and 20, but that's a much closer kill-death spread than what the Goats have. So
Yeah.
maybe bringing it on to Haven could be a different story. But 2 rounds still seal the deal. We have to get to overtime.
Oh, you said it now.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I feel bad if I have, but we'll see. Maybe it's not quite yet. Maybe this is a new day.
Maybe indeed. Chokehold sent through towards A-Link. There by Lewis, just making sure that that area can't be passed. It's essentially a fade seize in a trip. Lewis is pushing forwards. Again, these double dashes. The light speed from Chazza getting information. Refract back as well. Still in the corner though, still under pressure. Stun out though, Nova Pulse, and the kills come through from the Goats. A 4 versus 2. They've got the spike in their clutches, B-Link.
I mean, regardless, I mean, of course, we have talked about, you know, the Hive, we have talked about the performers, we have talked about Eagle,
30 seconds
but
left.
genuinely, both Goats and Wolfhounds, the Astras here have been the kind of make or break. Zay and JM Bass, even if JM Bass has been having far weaker of a performance than the man himself, he just gets another 2k as I'm saying his name. You know, it's not going to be enough, but look at where that spike is. Only 10 seconds left. Do we see enough to... Okay, actually, the Wolfhounds just believing that that spike's being held. Meanwhile, the Goats kind of hedging their bets that the Wolfhounds are going to have to play at least a little bit tentatively, or more importantly, they're not going to just run at that spike to try and get it picked up and get the plant secured. So, ladies and gentlemen, penultimate round either between overtime or a 2-0 for the Wolfhounds.
And they've got a bye. Just the one Guardian, but even still, Operator, Vandals. This is still going to be possible here for the Wolfhounds to take it, and they won the last map on a Thrifty. So anything can happen here. Round 24 gets underway here on Abyss. The stakes couldn't be higher, Maddante. And Wolfhounds, you can tell they're not rushing into things. Just a quick explore through mid. Don't find anything. Now looking towards A.
Meanwhile, the oil drone actually already used to clear out that mid. Not going to find a single target. That's a big piece of utility that's gone. Counter oil drone. Here we go. Evolution from Lewis. Oh, Eagle gets out. That's a big deal, and the rotate's actually pretty comfortable there from Goats against Steel Garden and the Convergent Paths. You use them or you lose them. So hopefully we'll get to see the alternative, but maybe the one moment that Lewis, that pick, could really come through. Neither of these ultimates will affect Vito in any way.
Yeah, Kira's tucked up closer as well. Lewis not caught by the ult, but username password finds him. Kianci as well, getting involved. Chassa with 2. Zay has clutched up before, but this time can't stem the tide. We're going the distance. We're going to OT.
I mean, those 2 letters, if you look, if you highlight, it's the first, it's the fourth, or it's the second, and it's the fourth. I don't even know my alphabet anymore because I'm getting that hype. It's the second and it's the fourth letter in the Goats themselves. We go to OT.
I was wondering where you were going with that then.
I made it work. I'd stump. Well, I don't know letters. There's 26 of them. I'm trying to work out 24 rounds of Valorant here. You expect me to keep up with letters?
Yeah.
Oh my days.
And we will have, speaking of 26, we'll have a minimum of 26 rounds. But the possibility for more. As the Goats now back on the attack, it's where they found 8 rounds.
Right here.
They're going to have to win here because we're essentially in sudden death. One mistake, and that could prove costly.
Oh, and indeed it could. What looks to be actually an aggressive defense from the Wolfhounds here. We'll see if that all finds its mark. Chazza able to survive that shot, gets away with his life. Meanwhile, this lurk from username password, the sheer, gets put down. And you can see it's not too big a concern, and actually the timing here from the Goats is pretty solid. That's so much utility they have to deal with. Both Sentinels set up on this B site. It buys time for the rotates, but It's honestly a little bit slow. The Wolfhounds don't fully seem to be biting. And JM Bass, he's maybe not been having the same performance, but when he's needed, all of a sudden.
And he's getting the spike planted too. An incredible amount of impact in this round. Our drone coming through. But those kills and the spike were enough to get the Cosmic Divide available here for the Goats. Zay with a quick jump through, trying to bait something out, but instead it's Ash to fall. Username password bursting through, has been taken down. Potentially an opportunity, a way back in here for the Wolfhounds, but still. 2-player deficit that they're going to have to try and contend with. The time not on their side. Close angles not working out either. And to close the round, who else but Chazza and Eagle?
Switching sides.
By far and away, the high flyers here for this Goat side. Both of them. I mean, Chazza's 1 kill away from 30, and Eagle's on 35.
64 kills in
That's a stack of kills.
That's 12 rounds of kills. Yeah, that's 12 rounds of nearly
that's a stack
13
of kills.
Oh my
Goodness
days.
Not ready.
That's yeah. I mean, Eagle has 7 rounds worth of aces in his belt at this stage. I mean, we could do the math all day long about how many frags has been gotten. Surely, though, Eagle at the very least trying to go for that aggressive hold.
He escaped from that position again.
He's done it like 5 times.
Yeah, this time though, there's pressure, but on towards him and towards CT and screens. That's something we didn't see back in the previous rounds. So now Wolfhound's a player to the good, and they're in the post plant here. I mean, we're expecting the attacks to be strong, but even still, it's going to be difficult. Interceptor as well, removing any kind of information gathering utility, but KNC just goes, okay, I'll rip your head off. Jumping through information gathered by Chazza, but now he's going to have to find the kills as well. There's the first and the second. Surely not. In a 1 versus 4, he's brought it down to a 1 versus 2, and like you say, Maddante, the time just not working with him. A 3rd kill on the board, but the spike detonates, and we continue onwards. Round 27 is on our screens.
Ladies and gentlemen, for anyone that doesn't know, the longest, I believe, Esports Wales game that went to an overtime, I believe, finished at a 20-18.
Good
I
lord.
was fortunate enough to cast it. We've got a long way to go before we get to those types of numbers again. But this could be a start. The way the Goats are playing the attack and the way the Wolfhounds are playing the attack, both teams seem so confident at forcing this space to work for them, at forcing their play to be the play that works out, to convert all of that. The op not going to be able to find the value, and we see the exact same push that the Wolfhounds did. The Goats are replicating.
Yeah, Eagles found the kill there too. Zay falls back sight. Kobels though finds a response. There's a second with a headhunter, but Chazza again with a double. How many times have we said that sentence? How many times have we seen the Goats win an attack?
Oh, I mean, how many times? I mean, we've seen it at least 11. Well, okay, maybe not 11. Maybe.
I think it's
around
10.
that.
I think it is 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say that 9. Yeah, that 10 mark. I'll absolutely be happy with it. And look at how this scoreboard is going. The longer this game goes, if you notice, ladies and gentlemen, the more that the Wolfhounds kill death are kind of equalizing, or at the very least kind of, you know, they're starting to average out a little bit, but Goats on the other hand, Eagle and Chaz are just soaring off to new heights. 71 combined kills between 2 people.
And let's not forget, Maddante, they're fighting to stay in the tournament. Wolfhounds win here in OT, and that's it done. They take the crown. The username password doesn't want that to happen. A 4 versus 4 now as Akira trades out, but the attack finding kills again. Chazza and Eagle, so often called upon on the site here, have to do it all. But they're not able to stand up to the might of the Wolfhounds. On this attacking side, they've certainly had their bite. It's not just Buck. And we go again, 14-14.
Switching sides.
Goodness me, there's just no way to separate these sides. It's basically going to come down to who can win a defense here in overtime.
It's down to these A attacks. We've seen both the Wolfhounds and the Goats so happy with that A site setup. They know how to get rid of that op or that at least angle on the top of box. They know how to dash themselves in. They know the utility that needs to cover tower. They've got that push down, but this time now, the Goats deciding to alternate, playing a very fast B, but Kobol's meeting them on the battlefield. Takes the head clean off of JM Bass. That's not only your opening pick, that is your Astragon in the first 10 seconds of an attack side Abyss.
Rough. Incredibly rough. And they don't have any other controllers to back up on. You've got a Cloudburst from your Jet, fair enough. And Chazza bursting through. Saturate onto Zay, so now no Astra is available for either side. And they've reverted to the old reliable, an A side plant. But look at username password. He's got a position in mid. That slow lurk round, it's just going to be a question of can he rotate fast enough for it to come into effect. Eagle pressured on the site, but still finds a kill, and a second as well.
My God.
Ash coming in, and Akira just a bit too slow here from Heaven. Relies on Kobolds to find the kill. And all this time, username password is sneaking up. Akira fighting into main, finds one, finds a second. It's now a 1 versus 2. The operator doesn't land. It's so damn close, but Akira gets the kill. And I think has the time.
Plenty? Plenty? Okay,
a third of a second.
Okay, maybe not plenty. Maybe not plenty of time, but enough time.
Match
Is this it? You said it, Charlotte. Was it the only requirement to get this map? Was it going to be that defense? Was it going to be converting that for the Wolfhounds? Is this the big deal? Because now all in theory the Wolfhounds have to do is do that A site attack yet again.
And then they've won the tournament. As for the Goats, they've now got to win a defense of their own. Something we've only seen them do 4 times in this map. If they want a chance to stay alive, if they want to just take us to round 31, they might not win after that point. Oh, the teleport up. Oh,
no.
Username password. Wasn't aware of it, but got the kill onto Akira. So traded out a 4 versus 4. KNC, the next player to step up to the plate. And Lewis takes him down as well. They're all falling to the veto. But he himself has been banned from this round. It's a 3 versus 3. And the spike is heading towards A, just as the Goats rotate away from this position.
I mean, the Wolfhounds they've played this knowledge to perfection. You get that mid kind of control. Yes, okay, you sacrifice your players to do it, but look at the additional control now that's given Kobolds, that's given the rest of the squad. There's actually such a lurk through here as well. I mean, you can see Zay's actually just all the way back up through mid, meeting Kobolds with him as well. They want all of this control because if you've got these angles like this, if you've got this timing,
they don't know.
You're not going to get checked, surely enough. Chaz!
Oh
no way! God! No, the timing! Okay.
The trigger discipline, perhaps a detriment in that position, but still, time has been bought, Maddante. Time is on the side of the Wolfhounds here, but they're forced back in towards A main. Chazza, the first tap on the spike as a stun comes through. Gravwell in main. Ash gets the kill. Jambas sticking it. He's sticking it. Hunter's Fury gets the kill and drags the Wolfhounds across the line. It took 30 rounds, but the Goats have been upended. The Kings usurped, and the crown goes to the Wolfhounds.
I mean, hey, can you say that it's not just a good show of Valorant? Can you not say that both sides fought tooth, nail, claw, paw, anything you hoof? If you're a Goats fan, paw if you're a Wolfhounds fan. Both sides played their absolute heart out. And yes, we did not get to game 3, but I don't think my heart would have handled it if we had.
I don't think my throat would have handled it if
No.
we had, to be honest with you, because that that overtime was ridiculous. And also, you know, I've got a pizza waiting for me downstairs, so I'm.
We'll keep this short and sweet then, I guess, ladies and gentlemen.
The other thing as well, though, I'm quite gutted we didn't go to Haven, because I've still not casted a map 3 in Esports Wales. Every single best of 3 I've casted has been a 2-0, and I thought it was going to be today that streak was broken. I specifically didn't bring it up because I was like, I don't want to cast a curse things, I don't want anything, and even still, we didn't go to that decider. But honestly, with that overtime, I don't think we needed a decider. That was down to the wire, and the first map was 13-10 as well, so you can't say that the GOATs didn't put up one hell of a fight, but you know, no lend-off, no win, I guess.
Hey, that you're stealing that from the chat, because I started seeing that pop up little by little at the end. And a big shout out to all you guys, of course, for joining us and watching us. We do love you very, very much. But I'm getting a little bit out of myself because I do want to talk about this breakdown at least a tiny bit. Because again, 77 total kills between Eagle and Chazza alone. 8 first bloods between them. If you factor in username and password, 14 first bloods just between those 3 players. And let me do some quick math here. 95 kills.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
quite a few.
Nearly 100.
Yeah, and I do feel quite bad for Eagle and Chazza, because it's not every day that you get 40 kills in an official. It's also even rarer that you get 40 kills in an official and still lose. Just an unreal performance, but again, it just wasn't quite enough, wasn't quite cohesive and together really to get it across the line, and that was the final difference maker. It was just that cohesion wasn't quite there. Yeah. And, you know, they gave Ash 1v1s at the end of it. He was able to build up his ultimate, and he was able to get it across the line.
I mean, I want to, like, my kind of final thoughts on because I did mention the storyline between JM Bass and Zay. I mean, both phenomenal. Like, the Astra stuff we were seeing from both of them, the clutch potential, insane. The shots showing up when it mattered. But, I mean, let's face it, JM Bass, 9 kills, 20 deaths, the 11 assists. That's, you know, at least manageable. But you've got, say, 25, 19, and 18. I mean, that's kind of pivotal when your Astra's going off on one quite to that level. You can't really fight against that, even if you've got players like Eagle and Chazza.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We also do just have a quick update from the championship elimination finals, which is, you know, the sort of 5th to 8th bracket here, and it appears like it was a pretty swift 2-0 here for the Wizards, 13-3, 13-5 against SEA Dragons. So, you know, that doesn't get you, you know, much. You get 5th place, but it does get you those club points, which are very important to figuring out. At the end of Esports Wales Season 9, which is this Wednesday, by the way, that's when you get to see which club takes it overall across all of the different games. You know, we had Marvel Rivals, we've obviously got CS2, Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, EAFC, and Chess as well this season. So there's plenty going on, but again, the final week, as I've gone blurry apparently, that's how you know you know it's time to wrap up.
The camera's even trying to call it quits, ladies and gents.
I'm on the Rainbow Six Siege final tomorrow with McCready. Maddante, are you doing CS2? I know you've been doing some of this Counter-Strike stuff this season.
I believe that is me for the Counter-Strike, unless there is a panic fill required. So maybe not the end of myself on this camera. Of course, certainly not yourself. But in case it is, I will say my goodbyes and my kind of best wishes for the remainder of the season. Of course, Charlotte, good luck tomorrow on that.
Thank
good
you.
luck everyone
Thank
to the
you.
rest. A big thank you, of course, everyone that has been watching. Shout outs to the production. You guys always do great at looking after us and gaslighting me. So I love you for that.
That was so funny. You should
make-
chat.
make-
You should have been there.
Yeah,
You should have been
chat. You should have been there as I was upside down and being told by my production that I wasn't upside down. But for the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to cut it there. We thank you so much for joining. Again, massive well done to the Wolfhounds. A big commiseration to the Goats, but you know who your opponents are for WEL 10. So the next time we see you will hopefully be with all of those rosters, with all of those plays updated. Until then, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Last player standing.
Hitting the brakes.
One enemy remaining.
Don't miss me too much.
Spike down A.
My ult is ready.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Gonna fall back here. Enemy killed.
Last player standing. Spike down A.
Stay down.
Go away. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Spike down mid. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Is that from today?
Last player standing.
Enemy punch.
One enemy remaining. enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Revealing area. Stay down.
One enemy remaining.
My ult is ready.
Attackers